Hey, happy Sunday and welcome back to the Road to Jerusalem. Today is day 40 out of 40 of our Lent devotional. And so today's the last one. We're looking at Luke chapter 19 today, both this morning in the devotional and then also at church. Luke 19:11 through 27. As Jesus is entering into Jerusalem, there is excitement and expectation and anticipation. The crowds are celebrating. They believe the kingdom is about to appear immediately. Everything is about to change. But right before that moment, Jesus gently and wisely tells a story, because what they expect is not what God has planned. And before we go any further, let me just say, if you're exploring who Jesus is, or even if you're unsure about what you believe, we would love to have you join us this Easter at Hope Community Church. That's next Sunday, April 5th. We meet at Antelope High School at 10:30. It's going to be an amazing time for family and to understand who Jesus is. But in today's passage, Jesus tells a story about a nobleman who is going away to receive a kingdom. But before he leaves, he entrusts something to his servants. And he gives them this instruction: engage in business until I come. And then he leaves. There's a delay. Time passes. And eventually he returns. This noble man represents Jesus. He is the rightful king. And yet, before he is revealed in visible glory, he will go away through his death, his resurrection, and his ascension. There will be a time of waiting. But this is not uncertainty. This is not delay without purpose. This is part of God's wise and sovereign plan. And during this time, we have been entrusted. Just consider this for a moment. The King has entrusted something to us: our time, our abilities, our resources, even the message of the gospel. Not because he needs us, but because in his kindness, he chooses to include us. And so it's important that we understand this rightly. We're not earning anything from God. We're not securing his love. We're not proving ourselves. We have already been loved fully, completely, undeservedly through Jesus Christ. And now we're invited to respond. But think about this. If we're honest, we tend to drift. We become more passive, more comfortable, more preoccupied. We could begin to live as if this life is the only thing that really matters. And we forget that the King is returning. Or we could slowly want a different version of Jesus. A version of Jesus who comforts us, who does not call us forward. In the story, some of the servants take what they have been given and they use it. Not perfectly, but faithfully. And when the King returns, he says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Not because they were impressive, but because they were faithful. But one of the servants does nothing. He hides what has been given. He buries it in the dirt. And what becomes clear is this is not that he failed to act, but that he misunderstood the King. He did not fully trust the King. And this is so important. Our faithfulness is ultimately shaped by how we see the King. If we see him rightly, as good and gracious, as worthy, then we will respond with trust. And when the King returns, this is a real evaluation. There is reward, and for those who reject him, there is judgment. I know this might be hard for some of us to wrap our minds around. We We like the idea of reward, but we don't like the idea of judgment. And so I don't want to say that lightly, but we say this because this is what the Bible tells us. It is true, and because it reveals the seriousness of who we trust and where we put our trust and how we respond to Jesus. And that's what makes today, Palm Sunday, even more remarkable, because later on in the text, as we will go through this Sunday at church, the king is entering into Jerusalem. And yet he is not coming to judge first. He's coming to save. He will be rejected. He will suffer. He will die. He will wear a crown. But it will be a crown of thorns. Why? So that sinners like me, sinners like us, could be forgiven. That we could be brought into his kingdom, not by merit, but by mercy. And so now we live in this moment. The king has come. The king is coming again. And in between, we have been graciously entrusted. And so here's the question for us to consider today. What has the Lord entrusted to you? Not with pressure, but with gratitude. How might you respond in faithfulness? Again, not to earn his favor, but because you already have it. Perhaps today that looks like taking a step of obedience, serving someone quietly, sharing your faith with humility, inviting someone to church, small acts done in faith. They matter deeply to the King. And this is such a meaningful moment. We have the opportunity right now during this season to invite someone to come to church. Would you invite someone to Easter at Hope Community Church? Not because we have something impressive, but because we want people to see Jesus. Because the King, who is coming again, first came to give his life. And one day we will see him fully. So until that day, may we be found faithful. We don't have to be perfect. God is coming back. Jesus is coming back, and he's looking for faithfulness. So we could live in light of his grace and for his glory. Hey, thanks for joining us. Again, we're meeting at Hope Community Church at Antelope High School in just a couple hours at 10:30. I hope to see you guys there. Bye-bye.